and welcome to another episode of the Elevated Beauty Podcast. I'm your host, Emily Fouts, and today I am going to be redoing an old episode of mine. This is Acne 101. Now that I have a little bit better quality, and I have also renamed the podcast. If you've been here for a while, you know that the podcast started out as Skin and Soul Podcast. That is before I formed my brand. So I just wanted to give a little bit more put together episode diving into acne and all of the different types of acne and triggers. Alright, so we're just going to get right into it. I personally kind of categorize acne to be sourced from these 5 different things. So one being diet. The second is hormonal acne. Then we have bacterial acne. And fourth, we have acne as a result of your gut health. And then acne that is fungal or from a yeast overgrowth. So those are kind of the 5 categories that I'm going to cover today and explain how that presents itself. Okay, so first, diet. This is a really big one, and this one kind of transfers into gut health acne. So a way that your particular diet can be causing you to break out is from foods that have a high glycemic index. So this is anything with the high sugar content, refined carbohydrates. So this causes inflammation and excess oil production. So we also have dairy, which is very commonly known to cause acne because of the IGF-1 hormone in cow's milk. So that also creates inflammation and produces excess oil. So the IGF-1 hormone is necessary for calves because it helps them to grow. But when it's presented in our bodies, of course, that triggers oil production. So caffeine is another source from your diet or another trigger from your diet that can really cause acne because caffeine does cause inflammation in the body. Then we have alcohol, of course, causes inflammation. You'll find that these 2 really commonalities in different things that cause acne is always going to be inflammation and oil production. So another thing is legumes. So they contain phytoestrogens, which mimics the androgen hormone. And so you need to be careful if you do consume a lot of nuts. I always tell people if you do like to consume nuts, almonds are a good alternative because they do not have as high of a content of oil as peanuts do. And then we have, there's so many things when you go into diet in particular, but so like shrimp, they're high in iodine. That's another thing. Whey protein, that is sourced from dairy, so you need to be careful and maybe switch to a soy protein or a pea protein. If you go on my Instagram, Elevated Beauty EB, I have a lot of content under my skincare tips, and if you just look on my Instagram, I have a lot of detailed graphics on foods that are good for you and foods that are bad for you in terms of your skin health. So all of these things that I'm mentioning, it doesn't necessarily mean to avoid them completely. That would be irresponsible for me to say since I'm not a nutritionist, but just know that they can and do trigger acne. So if that is something that you have a problem with, then you definitely need to monitor your intake of these different things. So like I said, high glycemic index foods. You might think fruits are really healthy. They indeed are healthy, but watermelons and pineapple and mango, they're really high on the glycemic index scale. So if you're a fan of smoothies, you might want to make sure that you're not putting all of them together in one smoothie, or just, monitor how much you're eating and drinking that. So seaweed, that is something else, kelp, because it is, again, high in iodine. And I think that is pretty much all I can think of to cover in diet right now. But yeah, a lot of the diet, like I already said, whether it's high in iodine, caffeine, dairy, sugar, it's going to trigger inflammation and excess oil production. So that is the key here. And so if you go back to, I think it was my last episode, yeah, I really went deep into gut health. So if you want to hear a more detailed explanation on how all of that works, because it is quite detailed, go back and watch that episode. But acne as a result from your gut health can be because you have an impaired barrier function on your gut, also known as a leaky gut, and toxins, food particles, microbiota are escaping into your bloodstream, causing inflammation. So your gut health can be weakened by, overuse of antibiotics. It can be weakened by having a poor diet. It can be weakened by many different things. So also in that episode that I just recorded, I explained how you can come to find that you might have an impaired gut health. So just pretty much all of the foods that I list in that episode, you can kind of see if you're ingesting a lot of that. And it's also, like, if you don't have good gut health, you won't be having regular and healthy bowel movements. You will be feeling sluggish. Your mood will change. Our gut health has a really big impact on our body. It affects our brain. It affects our mood. It affects our weight. It affects so many different things. So you really want to make sure that you have a healthy gut, and you can do that by implementing certain foods, essential fatty acids, omega-3s, and different things like that. So if you want to know more about that, definitely go and listen to that one. All right, so the third source of acne is fungal or yeast overgrowth. So fungal acne presents itself as really small, red, itchy bumps. And this can happen if you have an autoimmune disorder, also if you have an use of antibiotics, if you are just keeping a hospitable environment for a fungal or yeast overgrowth to happen, like if you go to the gym and you don't shower immediately after, or you stay in damp, sweaty clothes, that can definitely happen. So that's a third type of acne. So gut health and or acne as a result from your gut health and your diet, they can present as cystic, but they can also acne as a result from your diet can present many different ways. So it can present as pustules, as cysts, as blackheads. Gut health acne will be a little bit more inflammatory, definitely, and cystic. Fungal, like I already mentioned, is going to be itchy and really small bumps. So fourth, we have bacterial acne. Bacterial acne, of course, is introduced from bacteria. If you are not keeping your sheets, pillowcases clean, your cell phone screen, if you are into sports and you don't keep your sports equipment clean at the gym, a myriad of many different things. So that presents itself usually as pustules, and that can be pretty easy to treat. You just want to use better methods of whatever is coming into contact with your skin. And then salicylic acid is a really great ingredient to clean out the pores, because salicylic acid does actually get into the pore. So yeah, bacterial, a lot of people think acne, they think dirty bacteria, but that is actually the least common type of acne that I see is bacterial. So fifthly, we have hormonal acne. So this can come on from puberty, just any type of hormonal fluctuations. If you have PCOS, anything like that, different stages of your life, our hormones do change. But birth control is another really huge thing that I see a lot of women struggle with when it comes to their acne. So when you are taking a birth control, you want to make sure that it's not a progesterone-dominant birth control. One that I actually find that is becoming less popular is the IUD, and that is a really, really commonly known birth control to cause acne because it is progesterone dominant. So that is one that I typically tell people to avoid. I know when you're breastfeeding also, you do use the mini peel, and if you choose to breastfeed, you just have to do that because you cannot take a birth control with estrogen in it because it like messes with your milk production. But I definitely always tell my clients, if you can, avoid an IUD for sure. So yeah, I think that is it for hormonal acne. Of course, it does present itself as cystic, typically on the sides of the face and the jawline. And it is a little bit harder to treat because when you are treating acne, we need to know the source. And then we really kind of get to the source and control it. But if it's hormonal, of course, that's going on inside your body. And that's really not a lot that we can do. But I do instruct my clients to consult with their doctor because that is controlled with medication or a switch up of medication and things like that. So we can't totally get rid of it when it is induced by your hormones, but we can control it with specific ingredients and products while you are making that switch internally with whatever it's being triggered by. If it's your medicine or an imbalance, and you can consult with your doctor and try and get that leveled out. All right, so just a quick recap. We have acne as a result from your diet, acne as a result from your hormonal imbalances or hormonal fluctuations, bacterial acne, acne as a result from your gut health, and acne as a result of fungal or yeast overgrowth. So those are the 5 types that I put together on my acne consult form and for my acne boot camp, and that allows me to really focus in on what the source of your acne is and what we can do to control it and what ingredients we need to use. So hopefully if you have acne and you're trying to figure out the cause of it, that can help you a little bit. And if you are an esthetician and you don't consider yourself an acne specialist, maybe this will inspire you to learn a little bit more about that. But anyways, thank you guys so much for listening, as always, and I will be here same time next Monday, 8 a.m. Mountain Standard Time for another episode.